Resentment is a bill that people continue to pay. People often think that resentment is something that you hold on to that's inside of you, but I argue that resentment is something that you project onto other people. Don't get me wrong, some people do deserve whatever feelings you harbor towards them. However, a lot of times with resentment, you don't know how to express that resentment or how to resolve that resentment. So it just stays there and it compounds not just with that person, but also with other people you come into contact with. Many people that hold resentment, they call themselves private so they can have good discernment. But the truth of the matter is, it's not about discernment, it's about protection. You were scared of getting hurt. You were scared of opening up. So that resentment just stays and it metastasizes until it takes over your mind. When I'm working with couples, I often refer to resentment kind of like high blood pressure. I call it the silent killer. Often we know the symptoms. We know that resentment is there, but we don't know how to fix it or we don't know how to work on it. So we just let it exist. And since it's not anything that you feel is actually killing you or hurting you per se, you just allow that, never really express it to your partner because you don't want to cause any issues. But I'm going to tell you, if you are holding on to resentment, it is a relationship killer and you have got to get that off of your chest. Now, the question is, what does getting that off of your chest looks like? Getting it off of your chest doesn't look like you blaming the other person or pointing a finger or tell them what they're doing wrong. It's actually just you being able to acknowledge what's going on inside of you and making it a conversation. Now tell me if this sounds like you. I've been with my partner for 5 and 10 years and I love them, but I feel like something is missing, but you can't put your finger on it. You've likely dealt with some kind of hurt in your relationship that you felt like you've been able to move on from, but your partner is telling you that you don't treat them the way they used to, but from your perspective, you are trying your best to treat them the best way you know how. You're likely dealing with some kind of resentment. Whatever the traumatic experience was that you and your partner went through, you may have moved on from it, but you never healed from it. And it is a big difference. Healing from something is being able to acknowledge what went on, how it impacted you, but you understanding that this is what you want, so you're going to move forward. When you just move on from something, it is just saying, you know what, it is what it is. I got to let it go. And the truth is, when you just say, I got to let it go, that doesn't give you an opportunity to heal and actually go through the grieving process or to actually acknowledge what happened. You just think the best way is to just move forward. And that's not the way this works. This is a part of resentment that nobody talks about. If you're resenting someone, there's nothing wrong with you. And truthfully, there's nothing wrong with them. It is honestly just you having the opportunity to go through your emotions. And when you express your resentment, you have to understand that that person, the other person, may not understand what it is you're trying to express to them, but you have got to be brave enough to talk through your issues. And when you're expressing your resentment, it's not you blaming them. It's not you putting them down. It's actually you just being vulnerable and expressing yourself to them. And if your partner is emotionally intelligent, they will be able to sit through that. Now, here's the truth about resentment that nobody's going to tell you. Your partner likely does not know how to deal with you expressing your resentment towards them. So you're actually going to have grace. And when you're expressing what's going on, the thing is, having grace with your partner, it's just allowing them not to understand and you just expressing yourself. You're not trying to convince them to see what you see. It's honestly you just tell them like, hey, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. And allowing them to deal with it whatever way they know how to. But just understand their initial reaction may not be what you need in that moment. But when you're dealing with resentment, the thing is, it's not about them understanding. It's about you affording yourself the opportunity to understand what's going on with you and being able to release that. And eventually that person will either get on board and have empathy or they won't. And then you will have to decide if that person is right for you. One thing I wish someone would have told me about resentment when I was younger is in order to be free, in order to forgive, I got to acknowledge the resentment. And a lot of times people think about resentment in terms of a relationship with your partner, but there are all types of issues that people have regarding resentment. You can have resentment towards your parents who didn't treat you or didn't love you the way you think that you should have. You can have resentment towards a teacher who didn't really believe in you and you use that as motivation. Oftentimes when people think about resentment, They ignore the resentment and they think about the wall that they had to build up so they didn't have to feel that pain anymore. So you don't say, I resent this person for this. You just have a guard up and you say, I won't let anyone get that close to me again to hurt me. And that is truthfully one of the most dangerous things that you can do as a person, only because you just don't impact you. You prevent other people from receiving the gift that you hold or that you were born with when you were innocent. In therapy, when I'm working with someone that is dealing with resentment, the one thing that I give them the opportunity to do is get it all out. I want to know every detail about what it is that happened, and I want them to be able to express the pain, the hurt, the annoyance, and the stuff that existed in that moment. And then we're going to talk about the things that are still present to this day. And when people are able to get all of that out in a safe space with someone who's just willing to listen and not trying to fix and just say, bro, it's okay for you to feel like that. I can understand how that made you feel and you can release it. Or if you need more time, just take your time, but eventually you will be able to move past this. But in order to move past it, you have got to let it out and you have got to acknowledge your feelings. So I want to make this clear. If you are someone that has resentment towards someone, you have got to let that out. Now, it doesn't matter if you let it out to them or you choose to talk about it with your therapist, but getting that resentment out is beneficial, not just for the other person, but you being able to get all that weight off of your shoulders. Whether it was your mom who didn't love you enough, whether it was your dad who wasn't good with his emotions, or even if it was your partner who hurt you long ago, and didn't give you time to grieve and time to heal. Whatever it is, when you are able to release that and acknowledge it, you will be able to live your life freely and give everyone that gift that you were born with. Take care. Peace.